Whether you are on an adventure or at the downtown cafe, your answers are no more than a sniff away. Dog Training 360's purpose is simple: to teach you why dogs do what they do, as well as the action steps you need to take to have better communication, connection, consistency, and conceivability with your dog. Today we're going to talk about how nutrition affects your dog overall, and just even your overall training with your dog. There's one thing that always comes up and that I'm always asking, is one of the main questions is what are you feeding your dog? And some people get a little stressed out about telling me what they feed, but it gives me an idea of how, really honestly, how training's going to go on how complete the dog is overall. And I think that training is such a secondary thing, or should be a secondary thing to the overall health of your dog. If they're too fat, anything we do in training could strain or hurt something, or they're not going to be hungry enough to want to train for food. And if they're too skinny, then all they're thinking about is food, and they can't even think about what we're training. But also they just don't feel well. It's just like us. When we were not feeling well, you didn't really feel like working out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're just like trying to get the right nutrition in you to feel better so that we could move on, So today I think is the first day that I've actually, felt like, gosh, I actually feel good. I haven't coughed in a while. I haven't,
Yeah, me too. And then I'm like, I should go ride the exercise bike.
Right. Yeah. And so I think that we forget that just because we throw this kibble in a bowl and put it down or put it in their crate, that it is such a valuable part of the balance of your dog.
I think it's easy to forget about compared to a person.
Yeah.
Because like when a person's eating healthy, like you get all these different kinds of foods, maybe different vegetables, different proteins. You're making different recipes, and like 90% of people that they feed their dog, they scoop kibble out of a bag and put it in a bowl.
Yeah.
And so it's conceptually hard to imagine what the nutrition is for the dog.
Right.
Because most people aren't going and buying these other vegetables and whatever and making something for their dog.
Yep.
You just scoop it out of a bag and put it in a bowl, and like really mostly dog food all looks the same.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Right. And so translating your concept of healthy diet from person to the dog is kind of a challenge because of that reason, I think.
Yep, for sure. And I think that we kind of forget to tie it into their overall health of...
Right, because you just feed the dog.
Yeah.
Like it's just a thing you do. Right?
Letting them out to go to the bathroom. We think about going to the bathroom, but we, it's just kind of part of what we do when we have them. And so, when I scoop poop 3 times a day, I'm looking at poop.
Oh my gosh. I only have 3 dogs, and they're my same 3 dogs.
Yeah.
But every time I go and clean up, I'm always looking at their poop too.
Yep. Yeah. And it's a big reflection of what's going in the mouth.
Absolutely.
And so it's a funny combination, but I think that we've kind of forget that nutrition is really, really valuable to their mind. And them being able to problem solve, them being able to sleep correctly, and also them being able to use their mind to think about what you're asking, to stay focused.
Yeah, because they cannot learn if they don't have the right nutrition.
Right.
They're just like crazy.
Yeah.
And I think if you're not thinking about it from the nutrition standpoint, you don't know why they're crazy.
Right.
You're just like, this dog cannot learn.
Yeah.
What is wrong with it?
Yeah.
Right. And then you figure it out and you're like, oh, of course. Of course I wasn't feeding them enough. Or of course they weren't digesting that properly. Yeah. Right. But it just starts out as like frustration because you're trying to teach the dog and you're like, well, my other dog learned this fine, or this other dog learned this fine. Like, what is wrong with this dog?
Yep.
They cannot think because they don't have the right things in their body.
Yeah. And Shannon, my 2 little Ranchy Border Collies, they it's really fascinating because I've just been watching them over, and my husband said, "Oh, they're eating poop." And I'm like, I'm not seeing them eat poop. So, let's pay attention to what really is happening.
Sure.
And they're not, they're eating other dogs' poop, but they're not eating theirs. And so to me, that says, guess what? My dogs are eating properly enough to have everything digest and then absorb. So what they're actually pooping out is the garbage.
Yeah.
And that nobody else should want it, versus other people's dogs are not digesting properly and their nutrition. And it reflects. I mean, I can tell, who's eating what and how their training is overall, and how they feel in the morning. When I pick up, I can tell who's got the right energy and who's got their nutrition for the day. And it's a big reflection on having proper nutrition balances out things, and it's an evolving and changing creature.
Yeah, well, because your dog grows and change. Especially if we're talking this from a puppy standpoint.
Right.
Their body is changing and growing, and so they have a lot more dietary changes, really close together.
Right.
As opposed to like an older dog like Louie, who I do continually have to change his food because it undergoes changes. But it's not on as fast of a track.
Yeah.
Where a puppy, you might have to change the food like every bag of food that you buy.
Yeah.
You might have to change to a new one. Like with an older dog, you might go for several months or even years until you have a problem that pops up.
Right.
And those problems can be changes with their own body, or it can be changes with the way they manufacture the food.
For sure.
Because food places will change their formulas, and they
quite
don't
often.
Yeah, they don't tell you.
Yeah.
And I have a dog, probably all my dogs are very sensitive to it, but Louie especially is very sensitive to if the formula of the dog food is different.
Yeah.
And so I notice right away, because I'm out there looking at poop.
Yep, exactly.
I notice right away when something is wrong with the food.
Yep.
And then I change it to something new. But you have to be in tune with that to be able to notice a difference.
Yeah.
So everyone go look at poo.
Right. Go look at poo and understand what you're feeding and your dog's behavior overall, and how you need to shift it. And Shannon, the other thing with nutrition that I see and hear a lot of is people getting really concerned about how fast their dogs eat. And so they get these slow feeders, and then the dog is so aggravated because they just can't eat normally, and they get really super frustrated, and then the dog stops eating or eats even faster or gets more ravenous around the house, or is trying to steal stuff off of the counter.
Eat the other dog's food.
Yeah.
Steal your food.
Right.
They just become like obsessed with food.
Yeah. And so, I tell people all the time, I don't care how fast or how slow mine eat. Mine eat fast. And
I'd say most dogs eat fast.
Yeah.
I really think there's like a few places where it's a problem. Like if your dog's eating so fast that it frequently chokes.
Yep.
And almost dies.
Yep.
Or yes, if they're eating so fast and they throw up again right after they're finished eating.
Yep.
But if your dog inhales, we'll say, inhales, and they're totally fine.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yep.
The other thing I'd say you have to watch about, if you have a large dog with a big chest, don't let them inhale their food, eat a lot of water, and then go for a vigorous activity.
Right.
That doesn't have to do so much with eating fast as it does with eating a large amount and being very vigorous after.
Right.
But really, those are the only food-related problems that I can think of.
Yep. And, my big dogs, my barrel-chested shepherds would eat fast, but we always taught them that we eat and we sleep.
Yes.
And so, they had time for everything just to slow down and digest. And that's more important than
how
slowing
fast it goes
the intake, because it's just a normal thing. So, nutritionally, there's so many little pieces to it. If I, the things that I know will slow my dogs down is putting whole vegetables in their food, because then they're like messing around with like, what is this new thing in there? Putting a whole egg in there without cracking it will slow their, eating down. And so there's just, there's better nutritionally ways to slow or change their pace of their eating behaviors, but you don't have to worry about it if you're not, you sleep after. Like we eat and we go into food coma and we relax. Yeah. And there's not really a right or a wrong food, if you will, as much as, if it works for your dog and your dog is healthy and not having to go to the vet for the top 10 reasons why dogs go to the vet, because that stuff can all be fixed with nutrition. So, if a certain brand does you well, make sure the calories are correct and what you're giving your dog. And you have to feed what you can afford.
Absolutely.
And
there's lots of good foods in all different price ranges.
Yep.
You don't have to be spending millions of dollars. Like the millions of dollars foods aren't the best. Like there's not, that's not a thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Like
you do what's best for the dog.
Yeah.
And the best for your pocketbook.
Yeah. And they're lower price diets that have full nutrition.
Yeah.
That have everything's digestible and so.
Yeah. It's really about doing the best that you can do, but also being willing to change and be flexible and to add things and take things out and understand that it's going to impact your dog's overall behavior on how they feel.
It's fun because, like, if your dog's feeling dumpy, you can change their diet and they feel good again.
Right.
So then you feel like, I'm taking such good care of my dog.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you can make these changes yourself and not have to go in somewhere and get advice from somebody else or get some kind of medicine or whatever. You can just make a few little changes to their food and they're like happier.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love it when their dog is happy?
Right. Exactly. So I think, instead of, we've got a blog post on nutrition and reading a label and calorie counting and all of that. But, I think overall, just taking a look at your dogs and saying, are they at their, their best self and what nutrition things can you change or add in and see if it makes a difference and see what direction and play around with it. You don't want to get rich food.
No. That's
hard on them. Or if they're not used to eating rich food and then you add rich food
it'll make them sick.
You have to be careful with. You may get a little bit of diarrhea, but it's nothing to be alarmed about. As long as it can be fixed with, a can of pumpkin and, stretch that out through feeding. Or, making sure that your dog has their gut is healthy. I don't usually have diarrhea when I change up my dog's food because we just change. Like I have enough stuff added in and taken away that changing the kibble is really not that big of a thing.
Some dogs are just sensitive. That's their thing.
Yeah.
That they're sensitive. And you just have to be more careful.
Yeah. But they still like a change, or they still would like stuff added in. And and there's plenty out there. But it all really comes back to paying attention to your dog's overall behavior and seeing if there's something that you can do better or different for them nutritionally to help with their process of maturing and learning and training and giving them a clearer mind just like it is for you.